welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be designing another bag. And you might be asking, TJ, who is this bag going to be designed for? Well, it's actually going to be designed for a very important person. Well, the President of the United States? Someone much better than that. My great aunt. It has influenced a lot of people around the world in her life. So her birthday was in February, and I made her this bag around her birthday and gave it to her like 2 weeks ago. And you guys are only seeing this video now because of two things. It takes a while to edit videos, and you know, I'm lazy. At first I'm thinking like a normal tote bag. You know, a tote bag, just like a normal bag like this. But instead of a long that goes across the body, just simply either two handles or one handle where they can just carry it, you know? But then I saw a video, Pacific clothing brand designed their bag to look like a paper sack. I'm probably gonna put pictures up so you guys will know what I'm talking about. So it had me think, okay, what if I use kind of like a paper bag sack design, but with a handle? So then I looked up more things that looked similar to what they designed, and then I found those bags that roll up like a paper bag, but also clip. I think they're for like scuba divers or something, I don't know, but they also clip. So I'm thinking, what if it's one of those bags and the clip is the handle? So like this would be the top, and it wouldn't be too big enough to fit like her Bible and like wallet and like jewelry maybe. So like this big, and this would be the inside. But yeah, it's like a normal paper bag sack, right? Then one of the ends will be elongated on each side and have a clip. This side will have a clip, and this side will have a clip. If I know how to draw those. That looks wonky. But back to the point, each side will have a clip. So then, when you roll it up like a paper bag sack, you would put these two edges together and roll it up. It would look something like this. And then the two edges would fold over and clip. So then she will be able to hold it like a normal bag, like a normal purse. And then all you'd have to do is unclip it and then unroll it. Maybe we make it separate. Maybe we make this part, the clip handle, separate from the actual top of the bag, so that way you can unroll the bag while still having the handle clipped. If that makes sense. So like, say this is so I'm gonna draw this a side view. This is the bag rolled, right? This is the bag rolled. And then we can have another piece of fabric on the outside, like over here, and have the clips like that, if that makes sense.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Hold on to. So the handle would be separated from the actual closing mechanism of the bag. I think that would work much better. It's time to find and cut our materials. Now I found this old quilted jacket that fits her vibe, which I think is a good thing. And I love just working with all the different colors and figuring out which parts work best for the panels. And then these are a pair of old jeans from my mom that she said she doesn't wear anymore. And I love the stripes and pattern on them from the spotted paint. So I decided to cut some pieces out of both. So we've got our pieces. We've got our two side pieces to the bag, our front and back to the bag, and then our bottom piece to the bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sew some foam cushion into the front and back pieces, but I won't do it to the side pieces to make them more flexible. So I really want to add these little decorations to the side of the pocket, but so my solution to this is I'm just going to hand sew it with this needle and some gold thread. I'm going to do the same on the front for these beads and see how that works out.
Oh, 1 mile in fog patches and showers early Friday, but improving to greater than 6 miles on Friday morning.
Stars shining bright above me. Night breezes seem to whisper.
2,000 years later.
We are going to sew together our back panel to our bag, and you'll need 2 pieces of fabric. As you can see, it's not the same size as my 2 pieces of fabric because of the fact that we want our bag to be able to fold at the top like a paper bag, you know? So to be able to do that, we need to leave room up here for it to fold, because if we add this stuffing on the inside of our 2 pieces of fabric to our top, then it won't be able to fold correctly the way we want it to. So we're going to add it to our bottom to give it that firmness in the shape that we want, you know, for this to be firm, but for this to be loose and be able to fold over, if that makes any sense. So we sewed those sides of the front and back with the padding in the inside, and I just remembered that I have magnets, a strip of magnets. I'm gonna put that on the lid of this one and the front panel, so that way when they can connect when you roll them up. Okay, make sure after you sew your entire back panel together, you know, make sure that you can leave these edges alone, you know, because this is going to be your seam allowance. All of this will be on the inside of your bag, you know, but for the top, make sure to fold it over and then sew again, and then sew again, so that it will be more smooth instead of the frayed edges, you know. So just sew along. Okay, so right now we have our front panel and our back panel. This is our front panel. I put magnets up top so they can clip together. This is our front panel here. Just decorations on the top because it's fun. And yeah, this is the back panel. And then we've got our 2 side panels that will go on each side of the bag. And this is our bottom piece. This will be the bottom of the bag. And I cut out this, and I don't know if I meant to put this on the inside of the bag as like more, or for the strap, because my design, hold up. So my design, if I can find it, was right here. So this is the bag, and I envisioned a strap right here and with hooks, so it's like a paper brown sack, right? And so the sides would be like this and the bottom, and then those are the designs, the front and the back. So I think I'll add on this next. It's on the back panel. I believe that's the back panel. So if we go off just what it looks like, you know, you got to watch out. Some guys, you know, they only talk about that thing, that thing, that thing, that thing, that thing, that thing. got these clipped. This is what we're gonna use. And we've got some of this is what we're also gonna use. And you're like, GJ, where do you get this? Oh, turn the camera. We've got our trusty, dusty drawer of sewing supplies. Ain't that a miracle? So we got our needles and stuff up here in our thread. And then we got all our accessories. We got zippers, we got cords, we got clips, we got little beads and stuff. We got key rings, we got chains. Move the camera back over. No, it's not a... Okay guys, we made a tube. What we're gonna do with this tube, we're gonna put it inside out. We're gonna... You know, this is usually the part where you already have all your pieces and you literally just need to sew them together. When you understand the design process, then it's really just following the steps. And for me, I overthink a lot. So being able to freely think and being creative at the beginning of the process, and then having clear-cut steps to follow towards the end of the process helps me dial in and make sure I actually execute what I mean to execute. If we sew it and it's inside the bag, then it literally makes no sense as a handle. So you always got to keep that in mind with your designs. If you put something in the way of another aspect, you got to be like, you got to put a mental reminder or write it down. You know, it works if you write it down as well. You got to put a mental reminder like, okay, this only works if I do this. You know, you got to keep the steps. Life feels good right now. You don't want to see all the frayed edges and the other sewing. So what you have to do is you have to sew it like this. You have to sew it right side to back. You just have to sew it right side to right side. Right side to right side. That's how you have to sew your bags. You think about it. You sew it like this along this edge, then you flip it back, and it's gonna look like this. You flip it back, and it's gonna look like this. You know, you don't see that frayed edge. But before we do the sides, think about it. If I put both sides on here, this side and this side, all that's left to the bag.
1 hour later.
Look at that. See, I told you. See? Now, I sewed a little bit, I should have sewed a little bit more, because then you see this right here. You see that? That's not desired, but you know, it's still okay. It's not the desired look, but it's still okay, because you don't see the frayed edges. See? That's all hidden. But I didn't really, you still see the other sewn across, but I didn't want to sew this part. You know, I didn't want to sew like right here, so I gave it more room, and by giving it more room, I didn't sew over this line. It's gonna look like. See? I sewed them together there. There. On to here. You dig? That way they come together like this. They come together like this. You see how this is wavy? How the line's wavy? And how this line is more straight? You always got to keep that in mind. Because sometimes you can sew like right here along this. You can sew along this line, and this will not connect. See, this will not connect because it's not on there. So sometimes it's better to sew on the side that you have more to think about. You have more to think about. You're like, okay, if I sew here, if I sew like right here, is it going to connect to the other material? You know? Oh, it's not going to connect to the other material, so maybe I have to scoot it back a little bit more. Okay, and it's going to connect to the other material now. These are things you got to think about. It's always better to keep a steady pace. Sometimes you can get in the habit of speeding up and slowing down. Slowing down is good for detailed work, but speeding up never really does anything good. It just allows you to make more mistakes. Okay. We sewed our bag right. We sewed our bag correct this time. This is the inside, and this is the outside. Look, perfect. Oh, you guys, the camera's not on it, but look, perfect. Look at that seam, bro. You can't see nothing, no frayed edges, no previous sewing line. You can't see none of that. It's just perfect, absolutely masterpiece. Look at that. Like this one, you can see the previous sewing line from when I sewed on the back panel to the other pieces. But this one, no. So it always helps be a little more cautious when you want to get something right the first time. You know what they say? They say, measure twice, cut once. And that is so true. When building anything, it's always better to measure twice and cut once. And that couldn't be more true for the sewing process. You know, it couldn't be more true. So let's give it a little test. Let's give it a little test. Hold up. Okay. This is what the bag would look like. You like it. You got the pocket. You put stuff in the pocket. Okay. Now, the straps would be out here. You would roll. Right? You would roll like a plastic, like a brown paper sack. You just roll it. Right? You might want to roll it again, depending on what you want. Rolling it once is good. Rolling it twice is okay. You roll it this first times, then you clip it. And look at that. You roll it, then you clip it. Literally the design that we drew up. This is literally the design that we drew up. This is the exact design. I'm telling you, planning makes everything go good. I'm telling you, bro. Okay, this part in the bag making process is when we have to turn it inside out and sew on the sides. Okay, so the reason why we have to turn it inside out is just like sewing the bottom. How we need these on the inside, we need these frayed parts on the inside as well. So we already cut out our two side panels. Then after you're done sewing, you might be thinking, this is what it's going to look like. You're like, TJ, why does it look like that? Because you have to flip it back outside right, or however you say it. And remember, these need to be this is the inside of the bag flipped outside, you know? So these flaps, whenever you sew the edges on, need to be inside the bag, because once you flip it, hold up, let me put you on a stand. Okay, because look, once you flip it, and if you have like decorations and stuff, you can be extra careful. You know, flipping it inside out, or outside right, outside, whatever. Once you flip it, these end up being on the outside. See, it all works. And we sewed the bottom on there. We sewed the sides on there. So this is the final product. Let's see how C thinks. Okay, so this is the bag. The back of the bag, the front of the bag. And here's the handle. You can unclip it. And here's the magnets that keep it shut. Here's the inside of the bag. Nice decoration. It feels pretty nice. And so to close it, you know, if you want to make it like, you just make it shut, clip it, and use this as a handle. And you don't really need to roll it all the way because the magnets keep both lids together, and you can still clamp it as a holder. So we're gonna put this in the bag as a gift for my aunt. Well, that's the end of the video. My great aunt really did love her bag, and that was great to see. Hopefully you guys learned something from the video and how to make your own bags just like this one. And remember to keep creating. See you in the next video.